evening and welcome to RMU Live. I'm Chris Baginski.
And I'm Casey Folga. It's election day and we'll have the latest on some of the biggest races going on around the country.
But first, we have an update tonight on the recent credit card theft from an office in Patrick Henry. Police tell us the suspect, 33-year-old Monica Ann Young of Pittsburgh, has turned herself in to North Fayette Police. On charges, she used the stolen credit cards to purchase items at Best Buy and Walmart in Robinson Township. Young is also accused of using credit cards taken from offices in Seton Hill and Pitt Greensburg. Police say she did not act alone. They expect more arrests in the case.
Today is Election Day, and Pittsburgh residents are voting for mayor. Candidates in the race include Franco Doc Harris, Kevin Acklin, and current Mayor Luke Ravenstahl. Election officials predict that there will be a 40% decrease in the turnout for registered voters compared to last year. The polls close at 8 tonight.
The RMU campus comes alive with the colors of fall every year, but could the turning of the leaves soon be accompanied by the roar of chainsaws and logging machinery? Mark Coddington has the story on the future of forestry on campus.
Prize winner Albert Camus once wrote, "Autumn is a second spring where every leaf is a flower." This statement cannot be denied if you were to look at the foliage across campus this time of year. Unfortunately, this site could be in danger due to the university's decision to have the woodlot on campus timbered, as first reported by the Sentry. In the article, it states that 300 overly mature trees will be cut to increase sunlight to the forest floor and stimulate growth of young trees. While RMU is contributing 50% of the revenue to their sustainability mission and the loggers promise to be mindful of the woodlot's wildlife, some students remain skeptical.
I understand why RMU is doing it for sustainability purposes, but I worry for the aesthetic value of the campus and possible damage to the wildlife.
I think it is a good idea, and I hope that students will see the benefit of this and a lower maybe tuition rate or something that benefits the students, because RMU is getting compensated for this. Why can't we?
Next year is the scheduled beginning of the timbering process. While only a small amount of trees are being cut down, any student should go out and see these flowers that nature has provided. Reporting on the timbering woodlot, Mark Coddington, RMU Live.
The 4th annual Susan K. Hoffaker 5K race is coming up soon. The benefit race, held right here at RMU, is being organized this year by RMU senior Courtney Matlick, who filled us in on the story of the woman the race is named for. The race is being held at the Joe Walton Stadium this Saturday, November 7th. Registration starts at 8 a.m. and the race begins at 9. All proceeds go to the Susan Hoffaker Memorial Scholarship Fund. For more information, email Courtney at cmmst40@mail.rmu.edu.
Well, our own Ed Albert is here, and he has plenty of things to discuss in the world of sports. So, why don't you take it away, Ed?
Thanks, guys. We have a lot to talk about in sports tonight. Game 5 of the World Series was yesterday, and the Phillies were on the brink of elimination. Plus, the Penguins begin their 3-game West Coast road trip tonight against the Anaheim Ducks. Also, we will take a look at the game from last Sunday between the Ravens and the Broncos as the Steelers' AFC North rivals took on the next team on their docket, who were undefeated at the last time. And last but certainly not least, we'll travel down to Talladega Superspeedway as we approach the home stretch in the chase for the Sprint Cup. All this is coming up later on in sports. Back over to you guys.
Thank you, Ed. Coming up after the break, could Republican victories in today's elections be a sign that the party is regaining strength? We will head to the polls next.
Plus, Warren Buffett buys a railroad while commuters in Philadelphia are left standing trackside. Stay tuned.
The candidates for Virginia governor are stumping for votes across the state. Republican Bob McConnell and Democrat Creed Deeds spent parts of their Sundays in the heavily populated Hampton Roads area in the southeastern part of the state. Jason Marks reports on the frantic final minutes of campaigning.
It's the last big push for the two candidates vying to be Virginia's next governor. Both candidates spent Sunday touring Hampton Roads. Republican Bob McDonnell compared the moment to the 2-minute warning in football.
You know, you can work hard for months and months during a campaign, but it all comes down to the get out the vote effort.
Most polls had McDonnell up by 12 percentage points over his opponent, Democrat Creed Deeds. The former Attorney General says the numbers don't matter.
They really don't. You know, it's made us feel encouraged that we've been up double digits, but that's only given us the feeling that we're on the right track.
While McDonnell is sticking to his platform, his supporters brought out the brooms, hoping for a clean GOP sweep for governor, lieutenant governor, and attorney general.
Well, it'd be historic. It's only happened once in history back in 1997 that the Republicans have captured all 3 statewide offices over the last 140 years.
They can think whatever they want to. We're going to win.
Sunday, Deeds campaigned alongside Tim Kaine, Bobby Scott, and Glenn Nye.
This election is all about keeping this Commonwealth moving in the right direction.
Deeds told the crowd there's no time to sleep.
Sleep is overrated. We don't have that much time left. And I'm confident we can get, if we get the vote out, we're going to win.
The state senator hopes the large numbers of voters who gave President Obama a Virginia victory a year ago head to the polls Tuesday.
We just have to get people engaged, and we're working as hard as we can to reach out to new voters and old voters.
Voters in the Hampton Roads area aren't easy to peg. The area has voted strongly in the past for both Democrats and Republicans.
Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway is buying the railroad giant Burlington Northern Santa Fe. The deal is valued at $44 billion, including debt. The investment is Berkshire Hathaway's biggest ever. Buffett says the deal is an all-in wager on the economic future of the United States, suggesting that the country's financial future is tied to well-maintained railroad systems. The deal is expected to close early next year, pending approval by shareholders and the Justice Department.
The World Series has left Philadelphia, but residents may still be thinking in baseball terms, like strike, as in the union representing thousands of transit workers, and walk, as in what people who usually use the transit system are forced to do. Transport worker union leaders walked out of contract talks just before midnight, rejecting an offer from the Southeast Pennsylvania Transportation Authority. That means all buses, subways, and trolleys in Philly and the Frontier Line in Bucks and Montgomery counties stopped running at 3 a.m. Still at issue, pension funds and disagreements on some work rule issues. Well, Casey, it's November. The weather's getting colder. I personally don't like it, but I think there's a man who can tell us just how cold it's going to get. And that would be Channing Frampton.
That would be Chris. That's me right here in the flesh. Yeah, it is November, and it's a chilly start to November. We're a few degrees below where we should be for this time of the year. But, you know, Halloween wasn't too bad of a day to be out trick-or-treating, but that's over. Right now, 42 degrees out here in Moon Township, dew point 31 degrees, humidity 64%. And the pressure is at 30.3 inches. Winds are the northwest at 9 miles per hour, and they were actually gusting to around 25 to 30 miles per hour earlier this afternoon. So a little bit of a pressure gradient built up over the area, but our temperatures look like this around the rest of the local region. 42 in Butler, 43 in Beaver Falls, 44 in Burgettstown and Washington, and we have 41 in New Kent and 40 in Kittanning, 39 in Greensburg in the Laurel Highlands. It's a little chilly with the wind chills being a little bit more intense up on the mountaintops. But for the rest of the eastern half of the United States, we have temperatures looking like this. 45 in Cleveland and Detroit, as well as Fort Wayne and Columbus, so 45 is the number of the day. 47 degrees in Lake Erie, 46 in Lexington. That's interesting. It's warmer in Erie than it is in Lexington, Kentucky. That's weather for you. But 50 degrees in Charleston, West Virginia, and 40 here in Morgantown, 42 back here at home. And let's take a look at what our forecast for tonight looks like. 29 degrees. Ugh, that's going to be chilly out. So if you have an early class tomorrow morning, make sure you get up and scrape the ice off of your car windows because there's probably going to be some frost on there. Partly cloudy skies, and if we move into our almanac for today, it looks like our high got up to about 48 degrees. Earlier this afternoon, our low is 30, so you can see we're below normal for this time of year. We should be at 55 and 43, and our records look like 82 and 22, 60-degree difference right there. But as far as our forecast for tomorrow looks like, we'll be right around still hanging below where we should be for this time of year, 46 degrees under partly sunny skies. You know, that snowfall, it's going to be on its way. If we take a look at the 5-day forecast, it looks like this. Temperatures are going to be dipping down into the mid-40s, maybe the lower 30s for our lows at nighttime. Thursday looks like rain showers, but there's also a possibility of some snow showers and wet snowflakes being mixed in later on or early in the morning or late in the afternoon. But hey, looks at the weekend. sunny and 54 degrees on Saturday, so it'll be a great day to get out and work on a class project or just have a nice hot chocolate as you walk around in the nice late autumn weather. Back to you guys at the news desk.
Thanks, Channing. Coming up in sports, we take a look at last night's World Series game, review the week that was in the NFL, and much more. But you have to stay tuned, and we'll be right back after these messages. Were pushed to the brink of elimination by the New York Yankees. Would they be able to hang on and extend the World Series? Let's head across the state to Citizens Bank Ballpark to find out. All right, so the Yankees getting ready there, looking to wrap it up. Early on here, bottom of the first inning, Yankees up 1-0 with the early lead when Chase Utley comes through for his team with a 3-run homer to right field off of A.J. Burnett, scoring Jimmy Rollins and Shane Victorino to take a 3-1 lead. Then bottom of the third, it's 4-1 when the Phillies are going to chase Burnett out of the game with a Raul Ibanez RBI single to right field, scoring Ryan Howard. The first time in 14 postseason games this year a Yankees starter failed to pitch 6 innings. Then to the bottom of the seventh, it's 6-2 Phillies. Chase Utley with another home run. This is a solo shot to right off of Phil Koch. Extends the lead. Utley had 2 home runs to raise his World Series total to a record-tying 5 with Reggie Jackson. And then Ryan Matson strikes out Mark Teixeira to end the game. The Phillies keep the series going. 8-6 is the final score. And they will take the series back to the Bronx on Wednesday night. And Philadelphia ends baseball's record streak of 5 straight series that had ended in sweeps or 5 games. Now to the ice we go. During the month of October, the Pittsburgh Penguins were dominant. So much for a Stanley Cup champions hangover. They lost 2 of the top players in the world in Evgeny Malkin and Sergei Gonchar to injuries, as well as third-liner Tyler Kennedy. Plus, they have been without Game 7 hero Maxime Talbot the entire year because of shoulder surgery. With all of these losses, their record for the month was 11-3. And as these players begin to get healthy again, the Penguins will be even more of a force to be reckoned with. The Penguins start a 3-game West Coast road trip tonight at 10 o'clock against the Anaheim Ducks, looking to tie an NHL record with 7 consecutive road victories to start a season. This also will be the first time that Chris Kunitz and Ryan Whitney will face their old teammates since swapping teams back in February. And now turning to the gridiron, the Pittsburgh Steelers did not play this past weekend. They took their bye week to rest up and get ready to go into battle next Monday against the Denver Broncos. Those same Denver Broncos were in action against the Steelers' AFC North Division rival Baltimore Ravens on Sunday. So let's take a look at how their game played out. So you see Ray Lewis here, part of the hard-hitting Baltimore defense, and here it's going to be the first quarter, and Kyle Orton over to Noshawn Moreno. Ed Reed hits Moreno so hard, causes the fumble, and boy, that defense is going to have to be something the Steelers look out for. Then we go to the third quarter. It's Ladarius Webb, takes that kickoff return, breaks through the wedge, and goes all the way to the house, 95 yards. Just about gets caught here towards the end, not able to do it. He's a speedy guy. That's 13-0 lead there. And then in the fourth quarter, Joe Flacco is going to find one of his favorite targets, and Derek Mason for the 20-yard touchdown strike. Your final score is 30-7 in favor of Baltimore. The Steelers take on the Denver Broncos next Monday at 8:30 on ESPN. And the AFC North standings, Pittsburgh and Cincinnati tied at 5-2. Both had bye weeks. Baltimore to 4-3 in the third spot. And let's go over to the NASCAR action. It's Talladega, and Jimmy Johnson and Mark Martin are talking about it. The Amp Energy 500 right here with 5 laps to go. Ryan Newman gets spun. His car flips over, goes up, hits the embankment, comes back down, rolls over. It's going to flip again before finally coming to rest on its roof. Kevin Harvick, Marcos Ambrose also involved in this wreck. 10 minutes, Newman sits there on his roof before they finally cut the roof open. He's able to climb out and walk away. And boy, take a look at that 39 U.S. Army Chevy, not in good shape. Then with 2 laps to go, Kurt Busch in the number 2 Miller Lite Dodge gets turned around by Brad Keselowski. This brings out the big one. You see Mark Martin, part of the points race there. He flips over. Casey Mears is involved. David Rudiman, Jeff Gordon, Robbie Gordon, David Reagan, a huge wreck. Take a look here at Mark Martin's car, just all beat up, but through it all, it was Jamie McMurray in the 26 Irwin Industrial Tools Ford comes away with the victory. And boy, I know that makes a lot of people happy, including one RMU Live anchor named Chris Baginski, who follows Jamie McMurray. But I'm Ed Albert, and that's your Sports Pulse. Send it back over to you there at the desk.
Actually, you can stay with us, Ed.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
I do quite like Jamie McMurray. It's never a dull moment at Talladega Superspeedway now, is it?
Oh, no, Chris. Talladega wasn't a typical race, actually. Lots of single file with a rule change, but, you know, everybody was able to come up and always at the end exciting, and, you know, you saw that by the wreck. You know, it was a big weekend in sports.
And, of course, we got the Penguins coming up, 3-game West Coast trip. So for all you night owls out there, you can stay up and watch those games. They all start about 10 Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, if I'm not mistaken.
Very good suggestion. If you do not have a class early tomorrow morning, stay up, watch your Penguins. I mean, you'll have all your homework done by then. Why not watch them? Right, Casey? You'll watch them.
I'll watch them.
That's right. See? You can get them all involved.
Well, Ed Albert, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Channing Frampton, got to thank you as well, always with the brilliant weather forecast that you're almost always right. So, for Chris Baginski, Casey Folga, good night.